Hello people, this is Power here with the review of the Kamen Rider Revice DX Libera Driver. So yet again, we get another premium Bandai belt, and I know Libera, I pronounce it as Libera, but I think there's like other pronunciations. Anyways, this is the primary belt of Kamen Rider Jean, or Jan? Jane? I stick with Jean. The official tertiary, the official third rider of Revice. So as you can see, I really like the box design overall of the Libera Driver. I like how it's in tone with the other stuff. So obviously we get Jean there along with her demon, Loveco. Obviously the Libera Driver right there. The top shows the contents. So we get the Cobra Vice stamp and the Kujaku Vice stamp. Then we get Jean and Loveco on the right. Belt contents on the left. And we have the back, which I really do like overall. This is really cute. I like the scrapbook aesthetic they went with. Like, cause I know we've seen these three pictures in like official promo stuff, because I think this was in like a TV magazine thing, whatever those ones are called, the high quality ones, not that are not Details of Heroes, the toy magazine, whatever. But I really like this like scrapbook thing, and like you can see the hands of Jean and Loveco. It's pretty neat. And then the bottom contents, as you can see how thick this box is. So here are the contents of the Libera Driver. Obviously the Libera Driver itself, the vice stamps, and the belt straps, which obviously, as you can tell, are just a repaint of the two-side driver buckles, or belt. Which I'm not going to bother overviewing because it's just the same stuff but orange. And I forgot to state this when I would cover the two-side driver, but these are the same ones that we've been getting since 01. I think because I feel like I didn't really clarify that, because in the Demon's Driver, I realized I never mentioned that. These ones are the normal length. For some reason, the DX drivers aren't. So, obviously, we just simply slot this like so. Obviously, as you can see from here, the Libera Driver is pretty interesting. Just because of this big, giant hump right there. So, when you slide this through, like, this is the same, like, just the traditional stuff. And then as a bonus, because why not? I think this is the right one. Jean actually has, obviously, as I said, Evil Alive and Jean also use Demon's Vice stamp holder. But Jean, for some reason, only has the one. But, so, right there, like so. So we'll just add Kujaku, because why not? So, when you actually, like, turn it around, like, this is, like, a first for, like, a design standpoint, but they purposely made it actually offset, which is actually pretty neat, as you can see, because typically, the belt's actually not, like, centered, which is actually pretty neat. Like, and I really just do like how this goes along and such. But then, like, my only gripe is the fact that, like, obviously, because of this, how this is done, you see this extra, like, space here and such, which I'm not too big on, because obviously, if you display the Libera Driver like this, then you're, obviously, this is obviously going to get, like, stuck like that, so I'm not too big on that, but that's why you don't display your DX belts with the belts on, because then, you know, you're gonna get them stuck like that. That's kind of why you only display CSM belts like that, or just be like me, just don't display anything in general. That's my spiel on not being able to speak anymore. So, when I put this away, we can finally talk about the Libera Driver. So essentially, you couldn't tell, like, Revice has taken, like, kind of the 0-1 approach with just how they manage the belts. Because obviously the two-side driver can essentially be, you know, compared to the shot riser. Now the Libera Driver can technically be compared to the shot riser because, you know, this thing is an entire buckle. However, I really do like the size of, like, the buckle portion. It's, like, really nice to hold. And I really do like this portion of the belt and such. And like overall, I really do like the parallels this has to the Revice driver, because I think from what I know, this is technically one of the first belts made within the series after Demons. So like, just I really like this parallel because it seems like these two go a lot more. Like these two actually like work, like complement each other a lot more than like the two-side driver awkwardly. Because the two-side driver just feels like really disconnected to all of this. And obviously, as you can see from here, there's a pull tab and such. And when you flip this down, you get a mirror so you can see Arabia Knight, Superhero Senki. Where's my finger? Where's the Biru? The Saber and Decade Complete 21 set. There's the Geo theme song version and Decade Gekijotai. And then there's just the other side of the table where you see Cobra and Kujaku. So, yeah, we're doing a mirror system again. I don't know, I feel like it's kind of unnecessary here, but I understand why they did it. You have to keep in mind it's packed like this within the box. But there is like a design in there, but I can't really make it out. Like you really can't make anything out within that mirror. Then you got the gate right here, which I think is a really cool like idea and such, because like, you know, like you got the screen caged up, and then when you swing it down it opens up. Like I really like that. But like sometimes like I understand because of how the mirror system works, but like man, this thing is like chunky. This is the speaker, and then again this is just like, I feel like when it's definitely like folded out like this, it definitely flows a lot better, because obviously a lot of the emptiness of the belt is filled out and such. And obviously you can't close this up when it's opened. You can only close it up when it's flipped up. So yeah, I'm not gonna really show what this does by itself because it's not really anything. Because all you really get of this by itself is simply when you flip it down, it's just the light. Like I guess like with the light you can definitely see what that design is. I can't even make out what it's supposed to be. It's like a circle with a bunch of lines through it. I don't really get what it's supposed to be. But interestingly, it's like a yellow LED and such. Obviously, we got the infrared sensor. I don't know, I'm going to be inconsistent with that. And just like Demons, like you do have a vice stamp slot. But this one actually, like, you know, allows you to, like, this actually keeps the vice stamp in, obviously. And then the top of the mirror system. Oops. So, yeah. So let's take a look at the vice stamps. So here's the Cobra vice stamp, which, yet again, we get another newly designed vice stamp, which this one I really like overall. I like the orange base. I feel like we never got this shade of orange beforehand. And like the additional orange marbling is really neat. I think it's supposed to be a modified version of the Showa marbling because there's still some gray. But other than that, like, this is really neat overall. Like, this one, for the most part, is covering the majority of the Vice stamp. And here's the stamp for Cobra. And then, again, here's the main base of Cobra. I really do like this shade of blue. Like, they do a really nice job with these ones. This one's, like, a bit, I think from what I compared, it's a bit darker. It's like a mid-tone between Kamakiri and Demons. Because this is definitely like a nice shade of like just dark blue. And then we got another metallic blue animal. Obviously this is Cobra. I really do like how the Cobra looks overall. And then obviously Jean's helmet is blocked off. Because like, honestly with this one, this is probably the only one where I really can't make out what it's supposed to be doing. But now actually looking at it, I can tell. Before I forget, the QR code for Gomberizing. I don't even know what it would do at this point. Oh, nothing. Just a power boost. The announcement, because I've been forgetting to say that for all of these, and the stamping sound. Surprisingly, it's a white LED. Which makes sense. You don't want to overdo it. Next up, surprisingly, for the first time, we got another Vice stamp actually packed into a toy. Like, officially, not the Revice 50th anniversary set. So, the QR code for Gomberizing. So, this is Kujaku, which, obviously, we can tell it's a Showa stamp already. Which, this one, again, is neatly marbleized. Like, even to the point of here and such, like, I really like these streaks overall. The Kujaku or Peacock. And this one, surprisingly, is Z-Cross. Despite the fact this one being the same color scheme as Thor's or Kong. Which I want to compare. Because I want to say this is definitely a lighter shade of orange. Yeah, it's definitely a lighter shade of orange, but it's the same metallic blue. So, wow, you guys really got away with that. But I think this is a neat color scheme overall, like, because they just took colors that didn't match with Z-Cross, but it still works, unlike another certain Vice stamp. But, yeah, so, like, I just really like how the Peacock looks overall, just even from the back, like, the wings are spread out, and then, like, you barely have Z-Cross. I really like this overall. So yeah, let's take a look at this and this within everything. Alright, time for weird framing techniques. So, because of the gate, we have to frame this really high. But for the most part, obviously we're just going to be focusing on the actual main portion, just like how I've been doing with the weapons. So, for the most part, you're not going to see this in frame. So obviously, to transform into Jean, all you have to do is activate the Vice stamp like so. And then simply slot the Vice stamp into this section. Whoa, did you see the... Whoa, look, it's capturing. The sensor is capturing. Slot it in like so. So you get the transformation standby of the Libera Driver until you swing this down. So there we have the transformation of Kamen Rider Jean, which I really like overall. Again, it's really nice to have a female voice within the driver, even though it's both that voice and the typical voice of the Vice stamps in one. But it's still neat overall. And as you can tell from the mirror section, this is kind of like the Revice driver where it will actually like... It's kind of like a... The thing here is like it's kind of like a mix of the two-side driver and the Libera and the Revice driver, because this functions like the two-side driver, but like LED wise, this actually works like the Revice driver. Because essentially, I'm pretty sure it's not as complicated as the Revice driver, where it's just the vice stamp doing all the work. I'm pretty sure the Libera driver is programmed to like know what LEDs to put out for a certain vice stamp. So as you saw with Cobra, it put out the light blue sounds. What? Anyways, the finisher process, you simply flip this up. Like, as you can see, now it's just like the Revice driver, the two colors are paralleling. And then swing it back down. Again, like what I said with the two-side driver, obviously it just makes the device the vice stamp say its name while this does all the work. Now we do have one additional finisher, and that's when we swing it up and then press the activation button. Just like how we will typically do that with the two-side driver, and we now have the voice going over the standby jingle. So obviously with the first one we got stamping. Gosh darn it. What? Stamping Smash? And then this one is Libera Smash, I believe. I don't remember. We'll learn about this with Kujaku. So obviously, like, this is complicated because obviously you need to flip this up and then fold it and then just pull it out like so. That's technically the canceling transformation process. And obviously, with like all the other riders, they have genome mixes of some kind. Nope. Genome changes of some kind. Obviously, Gene has the genome restyle gimmick, to which you just simply activate the vice stamp like so. You insert it, however you press the button right away, just like you're doing a restyle or like a remix. Then you get a new standby. And then just do the same thing. So this functions more like the two-side driver like sound set, where this will mostly play its sound and then the vice stamp will say its name. And then one thing I forgot to mention, this applies to every vice stamp, but when you press the vice stamp button when the Libera driver's in this mode, you get 5 sounds of Loveco. Wow, I just skipped the first 2. Yeah. And then the finishers are actually the same, or the process is the same within Restyle. Yeah, so when you don't press it, it's stamping Smash, and then when you do press it, the Hisat Shonen. Yeah. So that's the base function of the Libera driver, and however, if you put in Kujaku without pressing the button, so you get a shortened version of Gene's transformation that includes the vice stamp name calling out. Again, just like the two-side driver. Finishers are the exact same. And then you can actually restyle Cobra. So that's pretty neat. Should probably state, Kujaku obviously grants Gene the Loveco fans, or I think it's technically Loveco Kujaku genome. I think that's the naming scheme. It transforms Loveco into bladed fans, interestingly, but it makes sense for a Kujaku. Obviously there are vice stamps we can use. I'll stick with only 2. So obviously we can transform with other stamps, so we will use Spider. So basically, as you can see from there, when I put in Spider, it'll actually emit a red LED. And obviously the whole illusion that the Libera Driver is supposed to give off is supposed to, obviously, it's supposed to be like a flipped version. It's supposed to be like kind of like the Revice Driver, but instead of like left to right, it's like now up and down. Again, I'm not too big on the aesthetic, because I just feel like, even though like the Demon's Driver doesn't really have that kind of gimmick, I still kind of appreciate the Demon's Driver for at least allowing you to stamp. But like this one is kind of the only one I feel like you don't really have that illusion of like stamping, because you can clearly tell by like clicking the vice stamp here, it's clearly like just clicking it, like slotting the vice stamp into the belt instead of like stamping. Doing the finisher, again, like the Revice Driver, parallels between red and white. And again, Loveco phrases are accessible. And then bringing in a genome change, Kamen, because I think these two work the best. So we'll restyle this one. Gosh darn it. So yeah, interestingly, all of the Revice, not all, but the main 10 Revice vice stamps actually gives you a different end part to the remix, the restyle, which is pretty neat. And then Hisatsunen. So there's actually like one more example I have to bring up, and that is the power-up vice stamps. So I'll just bring this up. So if we use something like Bard Rex and try to restyle, we actually can't. because we already know it can't, you can't Hisatsunen in the two-side driver, so that still does, you still cannot restyle within the Libera Driver, sadly. So with Bard Rex, you're stuck with just the traditional transformation sounds, and you can't do the Hisatsunen in here. Volcano, obviously you can, because this button is accessible. And then obviously we got rolling. Rolling obviously works. It's like, this works a lot better than the two-side driver because you don't have to deal with too much contraption. So like, basically like the thing is that this one you can see clearly can slot into the Libera driver. It's just that because this is shaped the same way as the Demon's driver, it just won't let you fully slot it in. So you have to get nifty and just try to again line up the LEDs or the sensors to each other. So after like 7 minutes of struggle, that does obviously work. It's just that, you know, the thing I've realized is that obviously rolling is actually offset, because obviously you can like start trying to slot it in, but it will not. It will just refuse to do so, because even if you were able to slot it in, the thing you can obviously see that like rolling was just not made to go into other devices, because you can definitely see the like stamp section is off-centered and such, so it will just kind of look dumb when you try to like line it, because you can even see from the magnet, from the mirror, it's just not going to work. So let's just use these two and everything else we got, because I spent too long on that. So we're gonna have to speed through everything because we have a lot of things to deal with. So yeah, interestingly, it's a white LED as opposed to the Libera driver where it's actually the proper blue. It's pretty neat. The sound is overall kind of stereotypical of what they typically do with Cobras that isn't build. And again, this is probably just the most interesting one I've seen. I also just want to apologize for the demo of where the majority of the Vice stamps are not in focus. Speaking of that, obviously if you want all the Vice stamps, just watch the demo. Because I'm not doing it in this. So again, Orange OD, pretty nice to get another orange Vice stamp. Really like the jingle overall. It's probably one of the first jingles I've liked in a while. And obviously the end part is supposed to be a spin on one part of Dragon Road, because obviously Z-Cross only had the one special. Obviously the magnet is just... I guess I can at least say, yeah, at least with Kujaku, it's at least like there is a mirroring effect, because I can't really say that for like Spider or Bat. So at least there's that. And obviously at this point I just stopped saying, oh yeah, this, you know, Revice can become Revice whatever, because obviously these are non-canon forms. And we got one more of the Bard. So yeah, again, just like Spider, it'll actually read Cobra. However, with Kujaku, it just reads that just like with Neobata with Yaba Yaba. So yeah, we are getting to that point of genericism, but you know what? Can't really blame them. At least they added Cobra and Spider. Okay, so for some reason there's something weird going on with my two-side driver. I think it's actually dying now. Because obviously when I film these in a bulk, obviously I can't just keep the tabs on because it's obviously more efficient. So, if it dies out during the finisher, I apologize. And I'm going to do the only one mode for each Vice stamp. Temperature. Watch the demo. New inclusion. We're only going to do genome mixes. That's interestingly colored. So yeah, we're getting to the point where the animals aren't getting colored as to how they are on the Vice stamps, and yeah, I don't know, Kujaku's kind of weird for me. This part's not really solid. Sometimes I had to like press it in just to keep it like that, but anyways. Gosh darn it. Ooh. People, I was going to take that wrongly because I couldn't finish my evaluation on the Demon's Driver. Because people are just going to say it's just hate. Gosh darn, why do I keep putting these on the wrong side? Okay. So, this one, we're going to do one. Because again, it would just be the same thing. If we did it with this. Did I even activate Cobra? I don't think so. Again, they're both going to be white LEDs, but this one is technically appropriate. And last but not least, this is still off. Why? So yeah, both of these will have Vice being flabbergasted by the fact that we have more Vice stamps. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on the Libera Driver. Like, I actually do have, like, something to say, unlike the Demon's Driver. Is that, like, I really like this driver overall. Like, oh my gosh, that's really scratched up. I really do think this is, like, a pretty nice, like, combination of both the Revice driver and the two-side driver. Because obviously, like, this thing, like, I think this thing is, like, really obviously based off of the two-side driver, just how it works and such, but I really do like how they incorporated the LED signals like the Revice driver, which is why I say they're, like, a pretty good combination overall. Again, I just really like the sounds. The sounds are pretty neat. The play factor is really fun. Like, other than that, like, just kind of, like, I guess I don't have as much to say, like the two-side driver. What temperature? Just get with it. So, like, I'll still say definitely, like, I think I still like the two-side driver overall, just because of the fact this is rare for me to say, because it's a weapon. Because, like, you know, typically for me, like, just because it's a weapon doesn't really factor in for me just being my favorite, like, you know, the shot visor. Like, that one is, but, like, it's not because it's a weapon. But the two-side driver, it's definitely, for me, like, the fact that it is a weapon, and, like, you know, again, I think just because of, like, the playability factor and just, like, the stuff behind it, I find really neat. This one, again, it's fine, and, like, really up there for me, like the two-side driver. But, like, I feel like the two-side driver just has a bit more point, or just, like, one more point that makes this one my second favorite driver overall, and such. I didn't even get into, like, you know, how obtainable the Demon's driver could be, nor this one. I think they're both the same. Like, they're both pricey, so it's just kind of like, this one's pricey just because of the fact it comes with 2 Vice stamps. So, this is $30 and this is like $45 or so. This is not $70. That doesn't make sense. But, like, I think this and the Demon's Driver were the same price? Or at least this one was like $10 lower. But, obviously, I would say, did I really scratch this up? I think there's stress marks because of rolling. Or they might have just been there already. But, you know, obviously I'll just say it's up to you. Most people would obviously go for the Demon's Driver just because of all what that can do and such. I can't really blame you. But again, like, I just think all the drivers that isn't the Revice driver are a lot more fun to play with, honestly. Like, I just feel like the Revice driver is just kind of the boring one out of the main batch, despite that one's supposed to be the main driver. Like, that one's just not really fun to play with. Like, just playing with the two-side driver, the Libera driver, and the Demon's driver are just a lot more fun than the Revice driver, so I hope someone actually takes that away, than rather just thinking, I don't like the Demon's driver. Like, because, again, this is why I just don't really like having to rank things. Just because people are just going to heavily misinterpret it. Like, that literally happened to me. Literally, like, a day after I tweeted about, like, just my thought, like, just, like, my favorite drivers out of Revice. I put in the two-side driver, Libera driver, Demon's driver, and, like, Revice driver. And, like, the next day, Draken is just, like, You know what? I might actually take back the Demon's Driver because you apparently don't really like it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, so, like, the Demon's Driver is Zariken's anyway, but, like, I mean, like, he was kind of conflicted whether or not he was actually going to keep it. But then, like, he saw that tweet of mine. He's like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to keep it. You apparently don't like it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck are you talking about? Like, that still infuriates me. But it's just kind of like, just, I guess to simplify it, anything that isn't the Revice driver is a lot more fun. And that's how I'm just going to put it down. Obviously, it's a premium Bandai item, sadly. I think... See, the thing is that I know this won't work in retail because it's a female rider. So it's just like... We're still... The marketing team is still stuck in that stigma. So, like, we can't do anything about that. But it's just kind of like... It is neat that, like, this is finally, like... We're finally, like, taking steps that, like... female riders actually getting their own stuff, obviously with Sabella and now with Jean. So, like, that is a good thing at least. And, like, hopefully we can, like, have stuff like this in retail. Because if China can do it, why can't Japan? Like, it was, man, it was so funny just seeing a bunch of, like, just Japanese people just being like, what the heck? The Kamen Rider store in China has the premium Bandai items over Hishin! Woohoo!